So what we do, we use cocktails as a vehicle to get people to indulge in a spirit the first time. You know, like you think of an onion. You want your toddler to know that onions are really good and they're going to enjoy them their whole life. You don't give them the whole onion, just take a bite of, you know, you chop it up and saute some. And so we did the same thing with Mezcal. So they get the drink, they pick it up, and as they're drinking it, they probably get this weird alarm going off. What is that smell? What is that? And then they're ready. They're primed. And then you're like, and this is the way you should be drinking it all by itself. You know, I feel like you have to earn to like some things. Like I like saying, an acquired taste is a just reward for an effort put forth.
Welcome to Over Drinks with Tip Top Cocktails, a show where we sit down with bartenders, creators, curious minds, people that we've met along the way, and we talk about food, drink, culture, you know, wherever the conversation takes us. I'm Neil Cohen, co-founder of Tip Top Cocktails. Today, I'm privileged to be joined by Phil Ward. Phil came to New York and started at Flatiron Lounge, went on to Peggy Club, Death & Co., and My Well, a bar that really helped establish the agave trends that we're still seeing in a huge way today. We're working on the Oaxaca Old Fashioned together. That'll be out soon. And Phil, welcome. Thank you for joining. We're sitting here at Long Island Bar, where you tend a few days a week in New York and Brooklyn. It's an incredible bar.
Always happy to be at the Long Island Bar.
Well, first off, cheers. Yeah, I'm curious to know kind of where this journey began for you in hospitality. You know, what was a first job, and you know what helped it stick?
Well, my sister worked at Carmassi's Tuscany Grill in downtown Pittsburgh. And I was home for vacation. I think I bussed like a few times, like when I was in college, when I'd be home for like, you know, a month or whatever. I think I started bussing there. And then when I came back from college as a busboy there, and then became a waiter and then became a bartender. Like, it's one of the things I really love about hospitality is that if you work hard, you have common sense, you move up the ladder, you know? So I became a waiter and then got a bartending job somewhere. And then eventually I left Pittsburgh and wound up in New York and just wanted to get a job. I wanted a bar back because I didn't want to wait tables. I got a job waiting tables at Fiamma, and that job was terrible, but luckily they let me go just in time to get the bar back job 6 weeks after Flatiron opened. So it was really wild timing, weird things. Looking back on your life, I guess, always is strange, but basically I just started working and I liked it. It's a good place to work. You can laugh, you know, interact with people, even though I don't like people. It's a nice place to interact with people.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then I worked at Flatiron for like 3 years. Pegu for about a year and a half. I tried so many cocktails, but I still wasn't trying to invent cocktails a lot. Like I got a couple cocktails on the menu at Flatiron, a few on Pegu. I did some cocktail classes at My Well, but I really hadn't tried to make up a whole menu myself or anything. This was the first time I could do that.
As far as where it clicked for you behind the bar and with cocktails, is there one experience or one particular cocktail that for you was like, yeah, this is something?
I always think back to my first night bar backing at Flatiron Lounge. I remember, you know, I'm from Pittsburgh. You don't put 3 things in a drink, you know? And I just remember working that night, watching her. I'm like, what the hell is this lady doing? Look how much shit she's putting in there. That's crazy. And then we got through the shift. And then at the end of the night, she's like, you want to try a drink? I was like, yeah, I'll try a drink. And I think it was the Apple Vodka Martini. And I tasted it, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Booze can be this good? Yeah. It was insane. So that got me a little curious. And then, I don't know. I was just like really smitten with, I didn't know you could drink like that. So I just started getting more and more interested in it. And then I started reading books. And then I just went down the wormhole. But one of the big moments at Flatiron was my first Mr. Potato Head cocktail, where I took Audrey's Gin Mule, and I did it with whiskey and lemon instead of gin and lime. Mm-hmm. And it was like, holy shit, this is like, it's a totally different cocktail. but it's the same cocktail. So that was a really big moment.
Yeah, go through the Mr. Potato Head, approach. And
Oh, Mr. Potato Head works in like pretty much any balanced cocktail is a blueprint for other cocktails, So like take the margarita. It's 2 ounces of spirit, 1 ounce Cointreau, 3/4 lime juice, You can use that same template. It's the sidecar. So basically you just take templates apart and put them back together because the most important thing you have to have in cocktails is balance and structure. So that's the blueprint for your structure. You just have to know what liqueurs you can swap out for liqueurs or juices for juices and stuff. I really don't understand why people aren't better at making cocktails because it's all you got to do.
Yeah, when you look at it, it's formulaic,
Yeah.
right? And I think for a lot of people who haven't tried making cocktails, it seems like it's such a hard thing to crack.
Yeah.
But
I did some cocktail classes at MyOL, and I literally, at the end of it, I would make everybody make a drink. Like I would say, okay, pick your template, and then pick what you're going to change about it. And I had a few people who really improved what the cocktail was. I don't remember the example, but it didn't take long to get people to click in there.
Yeah. At MyOL, very much your bar that's largely credited for bringing agave spirits to the forefront, a trend that continues today. So when you were first introducing someone to, really specifically Mezcal, what were sort of the ways that you would do that?
It was basically baby steps. I thought Del Maguey Chichicapa was one of the greatest things I've ever tasted in my life. But when, 21-year-old Barbara comes from Jersey into the bar, I can't just give her a neat pour of Chichicapa and expect her to like it. She's going to be like, what is that, gasoline?
Right.
So what we do, we use cocktails as a vehicle to get people to indulge in a spirit the first time, you think of an onion. You want your toddler to know that onions are really good and they're going to enjoy them their whole life. You don't give them the whole onion, just take a bite of, you chop it up and saute some. And so we did the same thing with Mezcal. One of the ones, probably the smallest little introduction drink was called the Randy cocktail. It was just a reposado sour with ginger. And then we would serve it Sazerac style with no ice, and we'd just atomize the glass with Mezcal.
Oh, cool.
So they get the drink, they pick it up, and as they're drinking it, they probably get this weird alarm going off. What is that smell? What is that? But then they would drink the drink, and the drink is just pretty basic. It's a reposado sour with ginger. They're like, man, that's good, but what was that thing that happened, So, they'd eventually we would also, we'd have a shaken cocktail that has half an ounce of Mezcal in it. So it's mostly a tequila drink, but they're getting a little bit more of the Mezcal and getting more familiar with it. And then eventually you'd get them to where you could try to get them to taste the stirred drink. And the same thing, the first stirred drink, you'd have half an ounce of Mezcal in it. And then eventually over time, you could get them to drink an actual Mezcal-based stirred drink, and then they're ready. They're primed. And then you're like, and this is the way you should be drinking it all by itself,
Yeah, and then you can explore all the various varietals, but that's advanced, Yeah, you've taken them through.
Yeah. I feel like you have to earn to like some things, I like saying, an acquired taste is a just reward for an effort put forth, how many times did you have to taste Lefroy before you liked it? You might not still like it,
Yeah.
Dawn, our manager here, she still hates it. We have it in an atomizer for penicillins and stuff.
Yeah.
She's standing there and she gets on my nerves. I'll just spray it. It's like bug off.
Like a cat
Chase
with water.
her away. Yeah, that's great. But it's also fun, for yourself, challenging yourself to learn to like things,
For sure.
If I don't like something that I know people like, I'll make myself keep trying them. Like oysters. And I was like, oysters are the most disgusting looking thing I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, I got to learn how to like oysters. So I just started eating one, and then it was two. Blue cheese, same thing. Didn't like it, but I knew people loved it. So you have to just keep doing a little, and then you learn to like it. And we had shaken drinks that had a half ounce of tequila or a half ounce of Mezcal in it. So you got a little more. And then eventually you work them up to where they could have a stirred Mezcal cocktail. It was like climbing a ladder, and it worked really well.
Yeah. So you're referencing some of the development in Oaxaca Old Fashioned just in the context of all the different things you were playing with at the time. But if you can kind of go back to when that cocktail was originally developed, What was that process, and did you have
I don't remember.
any concept of?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
It was definitely a Death & Co. It was probably for a regular. People, your customers who are your guinea pigs are very important customers. So we had so many guinea pigs there where whatever I was working on, I would just make them things. And like, it was, Death & Co. was so fantastic because I worked at Flatiron for like 3 years. Pegu for about a year and a half. I read so many books. I tried so many cocktails, but I still wasn't trying to invent cocktails a lot. Like I got a couple cocktails on the menu at Flatiron, a few on Pegu, but I really hadn't tried to make up a whole menu myself or anything. This was the first time I could do that, and it was glorious. Yeah. It was so great just to just make up drinks and try things every day. And I had so many regulars who would just come in. I still have regulars like that where they're just like, I just make them something or whatever. So I make them something that I'm working on, or I'll get an idea right at the moment. And I'm pretty sure the Oaxaca was just like an off the cuff for one of the guinea pigs. And we're like, whoa, that's really good. But it really pisses me off that I don't remember who I made it for. But it's also kind of nice.
Yeah.
It almost feels like real because I can't remember what it was. It's just like real life.
Yeah. And was it immediately like, oh, this is something that we'll repeat and like we want to put on the menu? Like when did it?
That's also what's nice. If I make something that I like for the first time, still happens here. I'll make a regular something here that I really like. I just start pitching it out to my other people just to double check and see how good it is and stuff. And so the Oaxaca was, I'm almost positive it was real quick. I was making it for everybody. And then that's also like menu development. When the people come in, you're just making things, had my little notebook and just like writing down recipes constantly. And it was basically menu development. So I think that one went on the menu pretty fast.
And then you start hearing that other bars are, getting calls for it and starting to make it?
Yeah, I don't remember how the timeline of that worked, but it's crazy. I get photos sent to me from people like all over the world. It's really kind of wild. Yeah. Like my friend Eben was just in Vietnam and he sent me a photo. I'm like, they're making my drink in Vietnam. It's really weird.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what's at the core of, part of our conversation is surrounding that we're putting the Oaxaca Old Fashioned out in a tip-top can. And, part of it is really ensuring that we can sort of preserve what that cocktail is supposed to be and kind of create a benchmark for it and put it out there. But did you ever think that you'd be canning one of your cocktails?
I didn't.
And what was your reaction when we reached out? And what made you decide that it was something worth doing?
I think what I said was something like, well, I guess this is our future and I should like acknowledge it or something.
Yeah, it was like this seems like an inevitability.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But then I was like, can I have some samples? Because if the samples weren't good, I wasn't going to do it. But I honestly I can't believe how good this margarita is out of a can. It's really fascinating. It's like I'm on Star Trek.
Well, I mean, with the degree to which you are just so steeped in agave, to have you say that about our margarita, which is like the simplest cocktail when it comes to agave, like that's
also the simplest
amazing
to make up or mess up.
Yeah, absolutely right. Mm-hmm. You're kind of talking about the evolution of the cocktail space in New York City, and you've been alongside a lot of that.
I really just wet the bed and got in right at the right time. Like when Flatiron opened, like the only two cocktail bars really were Angel Share and Milk and Honey, and that was like a combined 70 seats or something.
That's wild.
I got really, really lucky.
So, I mean, obviously it's exploded. What do you see that you like? What do you see that you don't like? Where do you think it's going?
It's hard to say. Like, I went to Thai Diner. You ever go to Thai Diner?
Yeah.
I went to Thai Diner maybe like 6 months ago, and I ordered a Negroni. Uh-huh. I said, can I have a Negroni, please? And they said, do you want gin or Mezcal? I was like, wow. We have come a long, long way. This is a Thai restaurant where they're asking me if I want gin or Mezcal in my Negroni. It's like, this is a wild world.
That's your legacy, though, man.
It really felt like a job well done. But it's also like, it's good and bad because everywhere now has a cocktail menu, but a lot of times it's not good, Right. So we've made a lot of progress. It'll be interesting to see where we go. Like we were talking earlier about like the THC cocktails and things. I think that'll probably become a thing.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about airports before we started recording, and I mean, A lot of the time it's just an issue of staffing.
Yeah.
And whether or not you can get well-trained staff to a place to be able to make these cocktails.
Yeah.
And I mean, for us, we've always said we absolutely do not want to replace bartenders.
Yeah.
But we do find ourselves in so many situations where what I want is a good cocktail and it's just not attainable.
Yeah. Well, this is also great just for the average Joe, you know, to be able to like chuck 3 of these in your bag, ride your bike to the beach and have like cocktails on the beach. That's pretty cool. I love cocktails on the beach.
Do you make it out to the beach much?
I during the pandemic, I got obsessed.
Yeah.
I rode
What's
my
your
bike.
favorite beach cocktail?
Fort Tilden. Oh, okay.
Fort Tilden's the beach.
Fort Tilden's the beach. Yeah. Probably, I did a lot. Gin Rickeys in the summer.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love Gin Rickeys. After like a 50-mile bike ride, coming home and getting like a 20-ounce bottle of club soda with a real pint glass, strong gin, good lime, and just drink it down. Just keep adding the soda. Oh, it's such a good time. But yeah, Gin Rickeys are a really good one. I like making margaritas for the beach. That's good. The first time I went to the beach with my friend Alla, who owns OTB over in Williamsburg, and Karen Stanley met us out there. She like literally had a cocktail shaker making cocktails. I was like, "You're cool."
I remember being out at Fort Tilden and just having the rum punch guy
walking
by with the package rum punch.
Nutcracker. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've indulged in a few of those.
Yeah.
But it's really nice. You ride your bike for 30 miles, you get to the beach, and then, you know, you just have one of those thermoses with the ice in it, and then you pour that in and pour the soda in. It's really great.
Yeah. So I mean that's kind of some of your life outside of the bar. What are some other ways that what are some other pursuits that aren't behind the bar that are opportunities for you to kind of flex creativity and craft?
I like to read a lot. We were talking about billiards.
Yeah.
Very obsessed with billiards.
Yeah, get into that a little bit. How long have you been obsessed with billiards?
I always played. Growing up, I played. There was like a pool table and a rec room at the park, and then I started playing in bars, and I just always really, really liked it. But then, like about 8 years ago, maybe, it was funny enough. A lady who I was talking to about possibly opening a bar with, she mentioned she played on a pool team. I'm like, a pool team? What the hell is a pool team? She's like, you just explained it. And I was like, can I play on your pool team? She's like, we might need a player. So I joined her pool team. And then I started playing more and more. And then it's kind of like probably like making drinks too. You have to get good at it by yourself. And I started shooting by myself, which I never did. And I think that's the first step in becoming a good pool player is you have to start shooting by yourself because then you can practice the same shot over and over, can work on specific things. It's also just you can spend a lot of time. Once you get comfortable doing it, you can spend 2-3 hours just shooting. And it's very relaxing. And then obviously you get better. But then I started doing that more. And then I joined another pool team. And then now I play like in 5 leagues and I play in tournaments and it's really great. It's an endless wormhole and it's good for the ticker. It's also nice when you do things and you can feel yourself improve. It's very good motivation, you know?
Yeah.
So I spend a lot of time doing that. I love cycling. Like I said, I rode my bike 11,000 miles in New York in 1 year, 1,000 miles in January. Yeah, I tried riding over the Gil Hodges Bridge in January sometime.
I can't imagine.
It's really wild.
Sounds a little harrowing.
Yeah. No, it was great, though.
Yeah.
Very zen, too.
Yeah.
But I can't ride as much now because I play too much pool.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting juxtaposition to where you spend your time behind the bar.
Yeah.
Social, loud,
Yeah.
boisterous at times versus sort of the zen experience of what you're describing being alone at a pool table or on your bike.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's also a social thing. Pool in New York is also a weird thing because it's a melting pot in a melting pot. Because New York's a melting pot, and then from that melting pot, you have all these random people who get obsessed with pool from like every different facet of New York City. It's really strange.
That's cool. Yeah. There's not that many things these days that get that kind of grouping together, you know?
I guess that's probably true.
Yeah. Well, I know music's definitely a place where you do a lot of exploration as well.
Yeah.
And, one of your classics, modern classics, The Division Bell, named for a Pink Floyd album.
Yep. That was during build out. We were finally pretty much done with building the space at Mywell.
Yeah.
And our foreman turned out to be just a total drunken cokehead jackass. Most of the people we hired were just really cheap and worked cheap.
Yeah.
But we were almost all done. So my favorite thing was when everybody left, 4 or 5 o'clock, I would go over, get a 6-pack, play some tunes, smoke a little doobie, and then this time we had to stain like the whole place, all the wood. It just needed
stained. Have you done that before?
No, but it's not hard. Any idiot can do it. So I would just have a beer, smoke a doobie, listen to some music, and stain. And I just kept listening to the Division Bell over and over. It's still one of my favorite albums.
Yeah.
I love that really great beach album.
Yeah.
So then when I remember I made up most of the drinks over like one weekend. And then I remember I was just laying in bed trying to write down random drink names because it's really almost harder to name drinks than it is to create them. So the Division Bell just seemed right.
That's cool. Yeah, I remember when that album came out, then they put out the live album Pulse that I still remember like in the corner of like my bookcase in my room, just that pulsing red light that was on that CD.
Yeah, that was a cool cover.
Yeah.
I love Pink Floyd. They just give you that illusion of space and floating away.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Absolutely. We do a different playlist for each of the cocktails that we release.
Oh, interesting.
Sometimes if it's a modern classic, it might harken back to the period in which it was created. Other times it's just whatever whatever that cocktail evokes and kind of think about the moods.
Do you have one for the Oaxaca yet?
Well, that's where I was going. Okay. When you think about Oaxaca Old Fashioned, what direction would you take that in?
I guess also if you go back to thinking about Mayoel, when we served so many of them, that's probably maybe some Yola Tango. We listened to a lot of Yola Tango there. I kind of fell in love with Yola Tango at Mayoel. Kept going, who is this band? And then it was always Yola Tango. Yeah. And they're tricky because they always sound kind of different.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I have a hard time placing them all the time.
I also don't think I've ever listened to a band who, if you don't know the song, you still like it the first time anyway. They just have like a really good mood to them.
Yeah.
Strange band.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, a strange band is one you can keep digging into.
Yeah, totally.
Throwing different things at you.
Good shows too. They play like Bowery Ballroom at Hanukkah every year.
Yeah, they always do like a
and they have
shows,
the weird. Right? Yeah, they have like comedians. They had the one opener was like these like 30 Africans from like Philadelphia whose original member claimed to be an alien or something. They were really wild. Yeah. It was really weird. I don't remember what they were called though.
Interesting.
But they were dressed real nice.
It wasn't like Sun Ra, was it? Sun Ra Orchestra?
It could be. Yeah. I don't know.
Was it jazz, like kind of space jazz stuff?
I think a little bit.
Yeah.
That does sound
like Sun Ra a little bit to me.
Maybe that's who it was.
Yeah, he claimed to be an alien for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah, they wear like the flowing, beautiful. Yeah. It was really strange.
Cool.
It was good.
That stuff's fun.
And like that concert, I feel like I hardly knew any of the songs they played, but I enjoyed every one.
Yeah.
And that's not how music usually works.
So it's amazing. When David Byrne just came around recently, it was interesting to me. He's studied performance and what makes music work. I mean, he has his whole book, about how music works.
That's the Talking Heads guy?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, exactly. But he's got this projection mapping now as part of the show. And what I realized is, of course, when he's playing Talking Heads material or other solo material that really hit, the room's ignited and excited. But because he can do more storytelling and setting up of new material, he doesn't lose the crowd when he plays new material, right? So it's like usually an artist like, we're going to play a song off the new album, and everybody kind of groans or takes, goes to buy a drink.
You know who really pulled off the new material good one time or a couple times when I saw Wilco?
Yeah.
They'll play like the first 6-7 songs will be their new stuff.
Right.
And they'll be like, thank you for listening to our new material. And then they'll go into all the classic hits. And then the third phase, they just played like an acoustic set. It was so great.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice. I thought that was a really good way to do it. Because when you mix them up, you're all into it and you're really getting there. And then they play a song that you don't know yet. And you're just kind of like,
Yeah.
So I really liked that setup. I thought it was smart.
Yeah. I wonder if there's any parallels between that and someone coming and sitting at the bar and they know what cocktails, classics that they like, and maybe you try to urge them to branch out to some new cocktails.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it does correlate. Yeah, that's a big thing is earning your customers' trust.
Yeah. So at the end of the night, after someone's experience at Long Island Bar, or when they wake up the next morning and they're thinking about it, what do you want those main takeaways to be?
I always like what Gary Regan said about a bar. He said in one sentence, somebody asked him like to explain a good experience in a bar or something, and he always said that you should feel better when you leave than when you walked in. That's a good thing. It's always great. Like being a bartender is nice because you actually get to introduce people to new things. And we all want new things, but we're all kind of hesitant to get new things and stuff, you know? Like I remember at Flatiron, once I was getting obsessed with drinks and everything, people would come in and be like, oh, I'd like a Cosmo. And I would be like, you don't want a Cosmo. We have all these things. Like, and they're like, Phil, if somebody wants a goddamn Cosmo, just make them a Cosmo. Because I felt like this thing where I was like, I discovered this thing that I wanted to share with people. And you're like, you're not letting me share with you, you know?
Yeah.
You can watch people when you bartend, like giving them something like the gin thing. The gin thing is the classic. What do you recommend with vodka? I say, I recommend drinking gin. They say, I don't like gin. I say, would you like to take the gin challenge? And they're like, what's the gin challenge? I was like, I will make you a gin drink. And if you don't like it, I will pour it down the drain and I will buy you your vodka drink. I've probably done that almost 1,000 times. So I love turning people on to gin because I think what happens is, someone has a bad well gin with a bad gun tonic, and they decide they hate gin for the rest of their lives.
Totally.
And gin needs a cocktail. I think gin needs a cocktail more than almost any other spirit. Like, I'll drink gin. I'll do a shot of gin. I'll drink gin on the rocks. But for the most part, gin is made to mix, and people just don't have it under the right circumstances.
What's that bridge that you give to the vodka drinker to get him over to gin?
Oh, there's so many. Like here, the gimlet. The gimlet
yeah.
is just like, it's so stupid good. But almost any well-balanced gin cocktail will do. You're not going to give them a martini or anything. That's for the end. But
so if at one point it was getting vodka drinkers to gin, at another point it was agave spirits, is there something right now? Is there a category? Is there a product? Is there something that you feel passionate about turning people onto?
We do a lot of aquavit here. That's a good one that nobody knows, and it's a weird one. We like our beer and shot. It's been aquavit forever, so that's fun to watch people drink that by themselves. I actually really like the rye bourbon question. They're like, oh, I don't like bourbon. I only drink rye.
Yeah.
We have 2 shots of rye, and I'll give them 2 shots of bourbon. They'll drink them. They won't notice. It's just like the American whiskey thing really cracks me up.
And then you'll tell them afterwards?
No, I don't. No, it's my secret.
That's just for you.
That's my secret. But it's the same stuff. It's just percentages, you know?
Yeah.
And, the whiskey craze, how people are paying all this money for bottles, it's ridiculous. Some guy a few years ago, this is back when my well was still open, some idiot gave me $6,000 cash for a bottle of Red Hook rye.
Holy shit.
I'm like, do you really not have anything better to do with your time and money? Like, it's just crazy. And I don't know. American whiskey, it's just like the ultimate bro business guy drink, you know?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with vodka, where the image is everything because it has no flavor.
Yep.
I feel like the nuances in whiskey are low enough that it's a lot about like brand washing and things like that.
Yeah.
It's trying to get people to drink better, you know, because marketing
That
works.
resonates.
It's scary. Like people are so brand washed.
Yeah.
And the liquor business is like, I always tell people, don't buy anything you see on a billboard.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you can sell booze with marketing or you can sell booze with booze. And you want to buy the booze that comes with the booze. Yeah. So that's what I really enjoy, is trying to get people to realize that they can drink better and cheaper.
Yeah. And kind of cut through the bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you mentioned the gin Ricky that you like on the beach or on a hot day, but what's like your own drinking ritual? Is there something in your life, like on the personal level when you're not behind the bar?
I mean, I drink a lot of Mezcal still, just neat. But I don't really make cocktails at home. I love martinis. I've gotten obsessed with gin martinis.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of the best one-off
Is there
cocktail.
a specific martini that you is your go-to?
No, it depends on your mood.
Yeah.
And there's so many good vermouths and shit. Oh, it's really great.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground. We've gone on some tangents.
Yeah.
Appropriate conversation over drinks, and just thank you for the time, Phil, and thank you for collaborating on the Oaxaca Old Fashioned. We're really psyched to be able to get that out there with you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
This has been Over Drinks with Tip Top Cocktails. I'm Neil Cohen, and we'll see you on the next round.